This and more much later on the news. I am Moses Ojewumi. Stay with us.
Doing your best means never stop trying. And you can watch us live on Facebook at Ogtv and Ogtv Television, YouTube at Ogtv Abeokuta, and on Ogtv website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and report, check us on these platforms: X at Ogtv, Instagram at Ogtv Television, or download Ogtv app on Apple Store and Google Play Store. Now the news in full. Ogun State government is working to improve access to high-speed internet and digital tools to enable businesses to embrace e-commerce, connect with global markets, and leverage technologies to drive growth. The state governor, Prince Dapo Abeokuta, stated this at the inauguration of Ota Parapo Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. Fowora Adesanwo reports that Dr. Kayode Bowale emerged as the pioneer president of the body. His report.
The Director General, Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, Dr. Shola Obadimu, inaugurating the Dr. Kayode Bowale-led pioneering executives of the Ota Parapo Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture at Ota. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abeokuta, who was represented by the Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Sheson Fagbayi, pledged the unwavering support of his government towards creating a business-friendly environment which will attract both local and foreign investors. Governor Abeokuta said the government was currently undertaking major projects to construct new roads and rehabilitating existing ones, particularly at high-traffic areas and industrial hubs like Ota, which he said will enhance transport networks aimed at reducing travel time, lower transportation costs, and facilitate smoother movement of goods across the state and international borders. Guest speaker Professor Evans Osabuohen said for business to thrive in a turbulent environment, there must be collaboration among entrepreneurs, investors, and stakeholders. According to Professor Osabuohen, it will be suicidal to maintain the old style of doing business at turbulent environment like the current economic situation in Nigeria. Pioneer President of Ota Parapo Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Dr. Kayode Bowale, called for the cooperation of all stakeholders to make the new chamber fly.
The whole world is passing through a turbulence period. Nigeria too is having our own share. That's the essence of having a chamber very close to the people.
Well, it meant more work, and then of course more fiction for Ogun State, Ota especially.
The investiture of the Deputy Governor, Elijah Noimot Salako, as the matron of the chamber, I believe it will take no time for the chamber to really fly as an eagle.
Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Ogun State, Bola Shofela, who was represented by the director in the ministry, Deji Showumi, urged the chamber to be an active advocate of a fair, open and competitive business environment. The state deputy governor, Engineer Noimot Salako Yedele, received an award of recognition, while Dr. Jackie Aduni Kazim was awarded the ambassadorial seal of the Opsima. Adefowora Adesanwo, Ogtv News.
Sons and daughters of Owori land, home and abroad, have been tasked with the responsibility of taking stock of the contributions towards the development of the homeland and ensure they are available for the task of nation building at all times. The Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimot Salako Ojidele, who is an indigene of Owuri land, made the submission while declaring open the 2024 Awori Summit convened by the Olofin of Isheri, Oba Suleiman Adekunle Bangbade, as part of the celebration of his coronation anniversary held at OPIC Event Center in Isheri. Matthew Shoumi completes the report.
With homeland spreading across several local governments in Lagos State and occupying several areas on the fringes of Ogun State border with Lagos, the rich historical and cultural heritage of Awori must not be eroded, while the people cannot afford to be left behind in the scheme of things in the country. These are part of the reasons this summit with the theme Projecting Awori Image in Nation Building was convened by the Olofin of Isheri, Oba Suleiman Adekunle Bangbade, to celebrate his coronation, and was well attended by top government functionaries, traditional rulers, and indigenes of Awori in Lagos and Ogun State. Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Engineer Noimot Salako Ojidele, who declared the summit opened, identified key factors of leadership, education, economic development, and proper mentorship in addressing the challenges facing Awori people and the development of the land.
Projecting the Awori image in nation building is a task we all share. It is a call to embrace our rich heritage while pushing the boundaries of what is possible for our people and our nation.
Chairman, Organizing Committee of the Summit, Alhaji Olushola Yusuf, and the keynote speaker for the summit identified the need to work for harmonious relationship, unification of thoughts politically and economically, while the traditional institutions must be strengthened to curb infiltration and heavy divisive tendencies.
We have to project that oneness, that whatever the differences we have, at least within our own space, we should manage ourselves.
There were two panel discussions where discussants gave opinions on the best way forward for Awori people and the land, while the dignitaries thanked the convener for the opportunity to provide solutions to the challenges facing Awori in their Guru messages.
Take the critical issues from the discourse. If we harness all this, take a cue from it.
One of the things we've been fighting for over 50 years, and I'm happy to be part of the struggle from that time.
Olofin of Isheri, Oba Adekunle Bangbade, said education and intellectual contributions have always served as the cornerstone of the historical development of Awori.
Well, this is the second Awori Summit we'll be having. We need to educate our children more, and we need to participate actively in politics, have a rethink about the way we sell our lands.
Oba Bangbade projected that most of the issues identified would have been dealt with before the next summit. Matthew Shoumi, Ogtv News.
And away from that, in a bid to enlist the support of all stakeholders requiring preparatory to the smooth takeoff of Gateway International Airport, the Ministry of Transportation has signed a memorandum of understanding after a meeting with traditional and religious leaders from Ikperu and Ilisha, representatives of the development associations of the two communities, and Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital. Commissioner for Transportation, Engineer Gbenga Dairo, who led government officials from Ministries of Transportation, Physical Planning and Urban Development, Justice and Surveyor General's Office to the meeting held at the airport ground, advised the people to ensure they fully tap into the benefits of the airport. Matthew Shoumi once again has details in this package.
The last T's being crossed and I's being dotted for the smooth and seamless commencement of operations in the iconic Gateway International Airport that will be a game changer in the local and international travels by the people of Ogun State and the country at large, with huge impacts on the economy of the state. These engagements by the Ministry of Transportation with community stakeholders comprising traditional and religious leaders from Ikperu, Ileshan, representatives of development associations of the two communities, and Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital is to enable them tap fully from the benefits of the project. Commissioner for Transportation in Ogun State, Engineer Gbenga Dairo, reveals that government has assembled experts with years of experience in the aviation sector for the running of the airport and is about to secure the authorization for the commencement of both local and international operations. Therefore, different stakeholders must be on the same page with the government.
The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority requires that the airport promoters enter into a formal collaborative memorandum with stakeholders who have a stake in the future and the value that this airport brings to this community.
Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transportation, Adesoji Adewuyi, in his opening speech, said the best way for the people to maximize the benefits from the airport is to understand the role that they must play. One of the consultants to Ogun State government on aviation and representatives of other relevant ministries and agencies explained that the state is blessed with one of the best airports in the world, which must be fully harnessed for the good of all.
It was part of the plan from the scratch to unite all the communities in there, point out the advantages and benefits.
The interactive session was very productive as different issues relating to the establishment of the airport, the host community, opportunities for the people, and others were addressed.
And the takeaway from here today is that the two communities need to work together, take together for the good of this project.
The two communities, put down their positions, and I'm sure the governments will do the right thing.
The memorandum of understanding was then signed for the smooth takeoff of the airport, with the longest runway in the country, one of the best fire stations and engines in the world, state-of-the-art terminals that could rival any other one in the world. Ogun State is indeed open to the rest of the world, thus positioned to take a leading role in the aviation sector. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
In a bid to ensure safety and well-being of residents of Isheri and its environs, the federal government through Ogun River Basin Development Authority has flagged out the dredging of Ogun River downstream in Odogun community near Ikorodu, Lagos. The river, which will be dredged from Ikorodu to Isheri in Ogun State, will in no small measure curb perennial flooding in the axis. Binga Adekoya reports is presented in this package.
Adequate dredging and channelization of the Ogun River will go a long way in curbing the perennial flooding in Isheri and its environs. Hence, the need for these proactive steps by the Ogun River Basin Development Authority with the flag-off of the downstream from Ikorodu to Isheri axis of Ogun State. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Ogun River Basin Development Authority, Engineer Adedeji Ashe, said the project is aimed at improving water flow from Ikorodu to Isheri sections and as well reduce risks of flooding in the state.
Downstream section of the Ogun River, for people that don't know, is influenced by complex network of 52 rivers, tributaries, which contribute to rising water levels in Ogun River. The Oyon Dam plays a crucial role in erosion control, mitigating the damaging effects of uncontrolled water flows.
The Olofi of Isheri Oba Sulaiman Adekunle thanked government for the bold step, saying the river remains a source of livelihood for its people.
We are very happy and very glad that the federal government, through your authority, has deemed it fit to help us take care of some of the negative concerns we have about this river. The history of the Aworis is deeply, deeply attached to this river. Our progenitor, Olofin Ogunfuminere, is the one who this river is named after.
In their goodwill messages, stakeholders and some community leaders present at the flag of ceremony said it will go a long way towards alleviating the suffering of the people.
We pledge our support, unflinching support for this project. At whichever point our support is needed, the community around here, we are ready to give our support at all times to this project.
High point of the ceremony was the official handing over of the project with a time frame of 6 months to the site engineers.
The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utsev, has warned of potential river flooding on Niger and Benue rivers, stating that a large volume of water is flowing through these rivers towards the Niger Delta region. The minister, speaking in Abuja at a press briefing regarding the flooding situation in Maiduguri, Borno State, called for vigilance in all aspects in proactive measures to address any future flooding events in the southern part of the country. He noted that the recent flood disaster that affected the Maiduguri and Jere areas of Borno State was largely due to the overflow of water from Alau Dam, located about 10 kilometers from Maiduguri city center, resulting from a massive inflow from the Ngada River, a major tributary of the river Yedzaram. He referred to the 2024 Annual Flood Outlook publication by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, which highlighted the high, moderate, and low flood risk area in the country. Borno, Bauchi, Jigawa, Taraba, Yobe, Benue, Gombe, and many other states were listed among the 31 states considered high flood risk areas. In the aftermath of severe flooding that devastated communities in Maiduguri, Borno State, the Nigerian military has stepped in to provide critical humanitarian assistance to affected residents. Displaced families, many of whom lost their homes and possessions in the floodwaters, are finding some solace through the government and the military's rapid response efforts. Soldiers are seen distributing some essential supplies, such to flood victims, even as the ferry individuals trying to navigate the waters and get to safer grounds. Authorities note that beyond the immediate relief, the military is also working closely with local leaders and aid organizations to coordinate rescue operations, transport stranded families to safer locations, and offer medical attention to those suffering from possible waterborne diseases and other health concerns exacerbated by the floods. And still to come in the news, federal government expands distribution of CNG conversion kits to states. We'll bring you details of these and more after the break. To stay with us.
No need to add milk join for that ogbonge creamy cup wey go help nourish and give your pikin strength. Milo 3-in-1 na correct choice. Milo, energy to fit do more.
Thanks for joining us again. The news continues. The Ogun State government has dismissed a news story published by online medium PM News, which claims that the rice project launched by Governor Abeokuta at Magboro in Obafemi Owode local government is an initiative owned by one Alhaji Bello Sabamawa, a businessman from Kebbi State. According to the state government, the report is not only biased and shrouded in half-truths, but also falls short of a logical presentation of issues and portrays the newspaper as simply mischievous. The deliberate misrepresentation of Governor Abeoku's speech on the day he visited the 200-hectare rice farm is the most ridiculous blunder a newspaper could have committed at this level of media advancement in democratic Nigeria, according to a statement by the special advisor on media to Governor Abeoku Kaude Akimade. The statement acknowledges private sector contributions to rice production in the state and appreciates efforts to support the local economy but it corrects the claim that the state government is claiming ownership of the 200-hectare farm. It also affirms that the 200-hectare rice farm belongs to 200 farmers aggregated under the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, Ogtv, and supported by the World Bank. The farm, known as Alubarika Rice Farm Cluster, like many others across the state, enjoys government support via Ogtv, including training on best agricultural practices, discounted inputs, mechanization, and linkage to off-takers, the statement adds. It also notes that the Ogtv agricultural sector intervention aims to stimulate economic growth and improve income for smallholder farmers in the state, with the rice project being one of the key commodities supported by the project. Contrary to PM News report, the Ogun State government contributed 65% of the cost of production to the rice from planting to harvesting, while the clusters of farmers contributed 35%. The government also tutored the farmers on the planting of the high-yield rice species, which it gave them at subsidized rate, organized the farmers, and provided them with loans. The Ogun State government, the statement assures, remains committed to enhancing food production and boosting economic growth through Ogtv and other agencies, with interventions that have already benefited over 30,000 farmers aggregated into groups and clusters, with 13,000 male farmers, 9,000 female farmers, and 8,000 youth farmers participating in crop, aquaculture, and poultry production. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has described the late resident electoral commissioner of INEC in the state, Olaniyi Ijalaye, as a man who served his fatherland with utmost dedication and determination. Governor Abiodun stated this during the burial service of the deceased at Methodist Cathedral of Faith in Owo, Ondo State. Governor's office correspondent Yusuf Gani reports.
Governor Dapo Abiodun, amongst other personalities, joined the family members of the former resident electoral commissioner of INEC in Ogun State, Olaniyi Ijalaye, at the Methodist Cathedral of Our Faith in Owo, Ondo State, for the burial service to appreciate God for a life well spent. Abiodun notes that Barrister Ijalaye will be fondly remembered for his display of uprightness, saying he lived a life of impact, particularly towards ensuring that democracy in the state saw the light of the day.
Olaniyi Ijalaye was known to be very accessible. He was a simple man. He was known for his humility, his dedication to his work, and his deep sense of responsibility. His kindness and philanthropy earned him very deep and wide respect. He was a loving husband without a doubt from all accounts to his wife Adebola. He was a doting father to his 4 children and their spouses and his grandchildren. He was God-fearing, he was God-serving, he was God-loving.
The Deputy Governor of Ondo State says the deceased was an illustrious son of the Sunshine State, whose contributions, particularly to our community, cannot be overemphasized.
And a moment like this, when we gather like this, is an opportunity to do some deep reflection on our life. We are all created for a purpose. And part of that purpose, the major part of it is to serve God and to serve men, to serve humanity. And when we reflect on the life of our brother, whose life we are celebrating today, we know that he lived a life of purpose.
The representative of INEC chairman stresses that Olani Ijalaye was a committed and dedicated public servant who gave it all to serve his fatherland.
Our dear colleague lived his life as a son of God, a true son of God. We have noted in the commission for being very hardworking, very diligent, very loving, and that is why we are all here fully representing the commission to show also our love to him. We can only pray that God Almighty will be with the Nucleus family.
The preacher, however, admonished the congregation, especially those in the opposition of authority, to do things right as the situation of the country calls for divine intervention in all ramifications. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
Meanwhile, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abeokuta has described the former correspondent of the Guardian newspaper in the state, Charles Kofi Jamfi, as a thoroughbred professional who positively impacted the society. Jamfi died in Abeokuta today, September 13. Governor Abeokuta, in a statement signed by his Chief Press Secretary, Lekon Adeniro, described Jamfi's death as a great loss to the journalism profession. He condoled the family of the deceased as well as the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, Ogun State chapter, urging them to take solace in the fact that he left an indelible mark as a professional whose name will continue to reverberate in the society. The statement described his contributions to the field of journalism as both significant and impactful, saying his absence will be profoundly felt within the profession. May God continue to rest their souls. And away from that, Ogun State government is committed to working closely with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council and other stakeholders to create a conducive environment for the cashew industry to thrive. The state head of service, Kehinde Onosanya, made this known while delivering a keynote address at a one-day intervention program in distribution of cashew seedlings for cashew farmers in the state in collaboration with Ogun State Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, held at the Obas Complex, Ukimoson, Abeokuta. Details of the event are in this package.
According to Ogun State Head of Service, Mr. Kehinde Onosanya, the program is pivotal for the state because of its comparative advantage in production of cashew, as it is geared towards strengthening the implementation of the One State, One Product initiative of the federal government under the State Committee on Export Promotion. It said cashew has long been a crop of economic importance in Ogun State, as it holds the potential to significantly contribute to the state's revenue, create jobs, and promote sustainable development in rural communities. The head of service noted that the intervention program is therefore an excellent opportunity to address the pressing issues such as capacity building and training, enhanced infrastructure and technology, market access and information for the cashew farmers to foster a business-friendly environment.
This program serves as a timely response to the challenges facing cashew production for export in our state and the country, with the overarching goal of enhancing the value chain and maximizing the benefits derived from cashew.
It therefore urged stakeholders to remain committed and collaborative while leveraging on the intervention program to lay a solid foundation for a vibrant and sustainable cashew industry that would not only benefit the farmers and exporters, but also contribute to the broader economic development of the state and Nigeria as a whole. Ogun State Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Adebola Shofela, noted that cashew production is a cornerstone of the state agricultural landscape and a vital contributor to the economic well-being, adding that it represents a pathway to prosperity, a source of employment, and a means of sustaining their families.
Cashew production is a cornerstone of our agricultural landscape. And you know that Ogun State is one of the major cashew producers in the southwest of Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole, and is a vital contributor to the economic well-being of our state.
Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, who doubles as the Chief Executive Officer, Mrs. Nonye Ayeni, represented by the Commission's Director of Product Development, Mrs. Evelyn Obidike, said the council is not resting on its oars as it is poised to move cashew production to an enviable height with the One State, One Product initiative in all states. In his own goodwill message, the Akaribo and Paramount ruler of Vermaland, Oba Babatunde Ajayi, represented by Ilemure Ovemure, Oba Adeshegun Aluwole, eulogized the state government for the synergy with Nigerian Export Promotion Council to increase cashew production in Ogun State and solicited for more intervention to support the farmers in all local government areas. Earlier in his welcome address, the State Coordinator, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Mrs. Francisca Odega, said the event signified the walk the talk principle of the council, as the intervention is meant to equip the farmers with improved and specialized cashew breeds that the products would be sustainable for export. Seedlings were later distributed to the farmers.
No need to add milk join for that ogbonge creamy corn wey go help nourish and give your pikin strength. Milo 3-in-1 na correct choice. Milo, energy to fit do more.
Glad to have you back. The news continues. The federal government, through the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, PCNG, has boosted distribution of auto gas conversion kits across states in Nigeria. This is geared towards accelerating conversion by commercial and private vehicle owners as government moves to achieve its target on new automotive fuel transition. Speaking to newsmen, a representative of the PCNG, Moses Onati, said about 10,000 kits are being moved to Abuja, Kaduna, Lagos, and Oyo states to make the kits available for vehicles conversion. According to him, the kits were loaded from a NIPCO warehouse in Ibafo along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to various states. He said the intent is to provide a cheaper and cleaner alternative to petrol. Onate added that the introduction of CNG as a fuel source aligns with the government's drive towards energy diversification and is designed to bring immediate relief to Nigerians, especially those who depend on transport for their livelihood. The Chief Executive Officer of Pelican Valley has added a new dimension to the housing sector as he opens Pelican Eco Stay Apartment, where nature meets luxury. The first 10 sets of the apartment were launched at full glare of eminent Nigerians, government officials, and those who know the story of the brain behind the project. The details of the report are in this package.
It is an envisaged smart city, the imagined Dubai of Nigeria, birthing in Masha, a community of Kobakwe Junction of the Abeokuta Shagam Expressway in Ogun State. Eco Stay Apartments enjoy the advantage of being strategically located a 15-minute drive to the Ogun State Central Business District, Abeokuta, and 50-minute drive to the Lagos State Government Secretariat.
Our nation is not destitute of visionaries. Our nation is not destitute of enigmatic personalities who actually have what it takes to transform our great nation and place it on the pedestal of greatness.
This is the official launch, and people converged on this edifice to witness another giant stride coming from the Pelican Executive Officer, Dr. Babatunde Adeyemo.
As we officially open the door of this estate today, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to everyone who has contributed to the success of this project. To my lovely wife, Titi Layo, I say thank you for being my dependable partner. Incidentally, today happens to be our 15th wedding anniversary.
It was a sight to behold and another fifth unimaginably to be coming at an area like this, many thanks to the enabling environment prepared by the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration, and the Commissioner for Urban and Physical Planning is here represented.
He said housing estates, they conform with our planning rules.
From the Commissioner of Police in Ogun State, CP Abiodun Alamutu, the initiative is commendable, promising security of people and property, not only in the area of the project, but in Ogun State.
Commend the effort of management of Pelican. This is a milestone and very laudable occasion.
Former Governor of Ogun State, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, was a special guest of honor, and from his representative, he was not surprised that the project is coming from the initiator.
I should come here and represent him and let people know that Dr. Adeyemo is his beloved son, in whom is well pleased.
The 4-in-1 facility comprises a standard swimming pool as well as basketball, badminton, lawn tennis, and volleyball courts. There is also a provision for table tennis. The over 40 million recreational facilities was inaugurated alongside the first set of apartments in the state. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
On legislative matters, Ogun State House of Assembly has assured that the state will continue to put necessary machineries in place to ensure increased collaboration with key stakeholders in the education sector to aid pupils' enrollment and reduce number of dropouts, so that the state will continue to maintain its pride of place as the education capital of the nation. The Speaker, Right Honorable Ludai Sielemide, gave the assurance during an advocacy visit by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF, led by the Chief of Lagos Field Officer at the Assembly's Complex, Ukimoson, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the session. Details of the report are presented in this package.
The need to accelerate actions on reducing the number of out-of-school children in Ogun State necessitated the advocacy meeting between the Ogun State House of Assembly and the team from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, led by the Chief of Lagos Field Officer, Celine Lafour. Speaker, Right Honorable Ludai Sielemide said, for Ogun State to retain its pride of place in the education sector, it was imperative for all hands to be on deck to address the prevalent issue of out-of-school children in the Southwest and the country at large. He noted that as lawmakers, part of their commitment was to embark on intervention, constituency projects, through donation of educational facilities, including blocks of classrooms, organizing summer classes, facilitating donations to schools from philanthropists, to complement the efforts of the state government at providing conducive environment for teaching and learning in schools across the state.
You have really done well for coming. We want to improve the standards. We want to move knowledge forward. We want to raise the bar, and we will be willing to partner with UNICEF to achieve all this.
Other lawmakers who contributed assured UNICEF of sustained synergy with government and non-governmental organizations to further enhance access to educational opportunities by pupils in their constituencies. They ascribed the high statistics of dropout and out-of-school pupils in the country to the rising spate of insecurity and eroded cultural values occasioned by the influx into the country by people from neighboring countries. Earlier, the Chief of Lagos Field Officer, United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Celine Lafour, who ruled out the statistics of out-of-school children and dropouts across levels of education in the country, attributed to various factors, including inadequate evidence-based policies, limited budget allocation, shortage of teachers and classrooms, poor infrastructure, cultural norms, health and safety concerns, as well as child labor, among others. She reaffirms UNICEF's readiness to develop models for reducing the number of out-of-school children and increasing the retention, transition, and completion of adolescents from primary to secondary school levels, while advocating the need for parents to have a firm belief in educational system.
Each of your constituencies to be able to identify the children that are out of school, to be able to know the schools that are available for them, to work with traditional leaders, to work with families, to work with all the stakeholders in the constituencies to be able to channel the children back into school. Once we've done that, we've not done it all. We need to know if there's sufficient teachers. We need you to advocate for an increased budget for education in Ogun State to make sure that you can have the right amount of teachers, that those teachers can have the right amount of capacity.
In her remarks, the UNICEF education specialist, Azuka Minkiti, sought for strategies to increase enrollment to boost the interest of school children, while working assiduously with all stakeholders in the legislative arm to ensure seamless access to quality education.
On health, the World Health Organization has for the first time pre-qualified an Mpox vaccine. The announcement came on the heels of the arrival of the first MVA-BN vaccines to the Democratic Republic of Congo, the epicenter of the epidemic. DRC has recorded nearly 22,000 cases and 716 deaths linked to the virus since January. So far, some 200,000 vaccine doses have been delivered to the DRC by the European Union, along with about 50,000 from the United States. Mpox, previously known as monkeypox, is caused by a virus transmitted to humans by infected animals, but can also be passed from human to human through close physical contact. Dominic Abeokuta is standing by for business news after this break. Don't go away.
Glad to have you join us on the business segment of the news. The Central Bank of Nigeria has directed that all point-of-sale operators must route transactions through licensed payment terminal service aggregators. A circular posted on the CBN's website stated that the move was aimed at enhancing the tracking and management of electronic transactions in the country. It noted that the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, PLC, was granted a PTSA license in 2011 to handle the aggregation of POS transactions. The value of the Naira recorded its highest gain by 4.8% against the US dollar in nearly 2 months after the sale of the country's debut domestic dollar bond. This marked the biggest jump since July 2022. The currency closed at 1,558 naira per dollar, its strongest level against the greenback since August 21, according to reports. The appreciation in the Naira came after Nigeria's first ever foreign currency domestic bond secured $900 million in subscription. The federal government has unveiled details of its strategic plans to generate at least $100 billion and create over 2 million jobs from Nigeria's creative economy yearly. The Minister of Art, Culture and the Creative Economy, Annatu Musawa, unveiled the government's plan at a roundtable for local and international investors, where she presented her ministry's 8-point plan and roadmap in Ikoyi, Lagos. Musawa lamented that despite its huge potential, Nigeria's creative industry currently contributes just $5 billion to the economy, with its different subsectors at various stages of development. She said statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics indicated that Nigeria's creative economy has a very low contribution to overall GDP in comparison with benchmark countries, with the industry contributing just 1.2% to Nigeria's GDP in 2022. And finally, on the business segment of the news, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, has levied a fine of 1.69 billion naira on the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, for overbilling consumers between January to September 2023. According to NERC, the penalty arises from AEDC's failure to comply with the Commission's previous directive on capping estimated billing for electricity consumers. The order follows an investigation into AEDC's billing practices, which revealed that customers were overcharged between January and September 2023. The fine represents 10% of the total overbilled amount. And that's the business segment of the news. Many thanks for watching. It's back to Bukola for the rest of the bulletin.
Thanks, Dominic. Now to the foreign segment of the news. Russia has revoked the accreditation of 6 British diplomats who were accused of spying. Also, the Red Arrows have performed a flypast at Niagara Falls as part of their tour of Canada. Meanwhile, a masked gang armed with shotguns ransacked a computer shop and left 2 people injured in a planned attack. Let's join Tolulope Olaoye for details of these on the foreign scene.
Russia has revoked the accreditation of 6 British diplomats which has been accused of